Bonjour, family and friends of the International Leadership Academy. My name is Aaron Bartels, and I'm the proud parent of Alexandria in Petite Section 2, or PS2 as it's known. I also happen to be the fine wine specialist here in Oregon for Southern Glazer's Wine and Spirits Distribution, currently working on my WSET Level 4 diploma. Now, I know it's been a hard year. It's been a hard year for all of us, but what better way to celebrate its end and to support your school by being a part of our A Votre Santé fundraiser, where you get to buy really, really fantastic wines from France. And my first suggestion is probably one of my most favorite wines and favorite houses in our entire portfolio, and it happens to be Champagne. It's Paul Roget's non-vintage white foil Brut Champagne. Now, the Roget family are a rare thing these days. A lot of the Grand Marque producers in Champagne that you might have heard of aren't actually family run anymore or operated. Paul Roget, the Roget family still run and operate everything there. They're also rare as well because they grow the majority of their fruit. Over half of the land that provides fruit for their champagne is under their own ownership and control, which means greater level of detail, greater level of control, and also finer quality at the end of everything. It's roughly 225 acres there in Champagne. Also, they have the deepest caves in Champagne, over 100 feet below surface, and also some of the coldest as well because of that depth. And what that means is really, really beautiful potential for extended aging and development of tertiary complex flavors that define Champagne and make it what it is. Something beyond Prosecco, something beyond Cava, something beyond even the sparkling wines we try to make here in Oregon. The caves in Champagne are truly, truly unique, and their cool, damp conditions really allow the wines to evolve in ways that we can't do here, and that is especially the case with Paul Roget. So in this instance, they pick roughly equal thirds of Pinot Noir, press it immediately in the vineyard to extract the juice so that it's not tinting the wine in any way, shape, or form. Pinot Meunier, relative, that's also red skin grape, that they press immediately to just get that lovely fresh fruit flavor from, and sugar. And then they also press Chardonnay as well in pneumatic presses. Equal thirds of those go into a primary fermentation, like all Champagne, where they turn it into a basic still wine. That is still fantastic on its own, but really, really benefits from the secondary fermentation. And that's what makes Champagne unique. Basically, they take the still wine, they put it into bottles, each one individually, and then they add liqueur de tirage, which basically is a little bit of yeast and a little bit of sugar, and then they set the wine on racks. And they let a secondary fermentation occur where it creates the effervescence in the wine. But they don't stop there. That's usually where things like Cava stop. They keep going. And Paul Roget actually is one of the last houses to still employ riddlers, people who actually turn the bottles by hand every day, walking down these large, deep caves underground. And there, once the fermentation is complete, those yeasts and that sugar and the leftover, detritus that's in there will collect and condense. And so they'll keep turning the bottles, turning the bottles, turning the bottles, turning the bottles until all that ends up in the neck of the bottle. This takes at least 3 years to accomplish. And in that time, the wine is extracting beautiful notes of brioche, nuttiness, almond, vanilla from the yeast that are breaking down in there, really making Champagne truly what it is. And Paul Roget is unique in the fact that they have cellar caves that are the deepest in Champagne, over 100 feet below surface level, and also the coldest as well, roughly averaging around 45 degrees Fahrenheit. And those cool, dark, damp conditions allow that autolysis, as it's called, the yeast breakdown, to happen gradually and slowly and integrate beautifully in terms of the flavor profile the wine has when it's finished. So after 3 years, the main part of the bottling is then disgorged. They add a little bit of dosage just to kind of balance out the acidity, and it's actually quite low for Champagne. It's only 8 grams per liter of sugar, which just helps to tame that bright citric note, because the Chardonnay really provides a Granny Smith apple crunchiness to it, a lovely lime and lemon note, as well as a slight saltiness to the wine. And to tame that, they add just a dash of sugar to kind of mellow it out just slightly, but you probably won't even notice. And that's still technically Brut as well. Other champagnes typically add almost twice that when in production. So they add that, and then they age it a little bit longer with the cork in the bottle now. But it's completely fizzy. It's completely fantastic. It's been blended and ready for your celebration and enjoyment this year. Honestly, this champagne, I find, can pair with pretty much anything. If you're ever stumped on what to have with a meal or with friends or family, champagne, because it'll just kind of cleanse your palate regardless of what you're eating, even steak or really rich dishes. And it'll just really help to like make things more enlivened, because that fine, fine, fine sparkly mousse will just zip through any of the fat that's there. I love it with even French fries or olives, or, classic brie is really fantastic with champagne as well, or just on its own because it's delicious. You're going to find, in addition to all those lovely Granny Smith apple notes, the lime, the lemon, you're going to find a little bit of salinity here. You're going to find also some really beautiful, almost like tart strawberry notes from the Pinot Noir. You're going to find a little bit of creme, like fresh cream as well. In addition to that lovely nuttiness, the almond, the vanilla, almost like a marzipan note I find with Paul Roger, thanks to that time in bottle doing the secondary fermentation with the yeast inside. So grab a bottle, grab a case if you can, and celebrate every day with this, because I think champagne just makes the world a better place and reminds us that life can be fantastic and a celebration regardless of what's happening around us. So, santé and merci.